So how'd you do on your fantasy baseball today?
Didn't really get too much into it. The early games were not what I expected. Yesterday, I had a couple lineups in that looked really good for a period of time. I just missed on one or two guys in every lineup, and it was all right though. I mean, I pulled profit the last 2 days in the small amount that I've put in, so it's been fun. And for a good period of time, I had some serious sweats until towards the end of the slates, where I kind of fell off and wasn't able to keep up. But it was exciting for an hour or two at least.
Well, that's good.
All right, yeah. Mark, I do apologize, everyone. Skype was doing something weird to me, so I'm not sure it caught any of that until about a second ago, but it's fine. We'll just continue on. But we're good. We're live. Everything's going. Everything looks good, so keep it rolling.
What do we want to start with? You want to start with some baseball, or?
Well, I mean, I just got back from Vegas. We could talk about that for a minute.
Well, that's where we were going.
Yeah, I love it. So my wife had to go out to Vegas for work for University of Michigan, and I got to tag along. And basically, we flew in Thursday. I got off the plane. We checked into our hotel. I took a cab to a poker tournament and instantly won $400. So that was a good kickoff to the weekend, I'll tell you what.
Did you play some World Series?
Nah, man. I did go down to that room, though. Holy cow, was that crazy. So we popped in there Saturday night, and the giant conference center at the Rio was completely full. It was the Millionaire Maker tournament, so $10,000 buy-in, $1 million to first place. It was pretty crazy in there. There had to have been at least probably 3,000 to 4,000 people playing in there. I mean, it was just a crazy madhouse scene. I mean, it was insane. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and I hope to go sit down at that table someday.
So did they let you just walk around in there?
Yeah, for the most part. You can walk down a couple of the aisles. The actual gameplay tables are roped off, and you can't. They have a policy of nobody standing behind the tables or spectators. So you can kind of walk in and around through the main aisles, but you can't get next to the tables. And then they have like featured tables and like high stakes games going on with like actual like security guards that won't let you past.
All right, that's the televised tables and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So it was really cool, man. I mean, it was a neat experience. I haven't been to Vegas since I just turned 21, so 17 years ago, and it was awesome. It was a hell of a lot cleaner this time around, I'll tell you that. They've really got it dialed in where all the big main casinos, Bellagio and Caesars and all that stuff, it's clean, very clean, and I don't remember it being that way when I was there the last time.
Yeah, Vegas is pretty cool. I've only been there a couple times for work. I've never been there for pleasure per se. I do one day. It's on my bucket list to play in a World Series. So
yeah, it's cool. I mean, there's games you can get into for $250 and up. You don't have to do the $15,000 buy-ins, So
yeah.
Mega satellites going on all the time too. So you can get into games for $100 to $250 and try to win your way into one of the bigger ones.
Absolutely.
Which is good. Chris, you ever been out to Vegas?
Yeah. No, I was there a couple years ago. Up until recently, I was supposed to be there right now. But, things happened, and I ended up staying home. It would have been funny because I would have been flying out. I might have possibly had overlap with you. Just one day, possibly. Or I would have been flying out on Tuesday. Never really solidified those plans, but yeah. So yeah, no. I've been.
No, it was a lot of fun. So I got off the plane and played in the 41-person tournament and got down to the final four. We split the pot, $387 each, and then my wife played a little bit here or there, and then next day I joined a 20-person tournament and took fourth, and they only paid out to 3. So that was disappointing, and nobody wanted to split that pot, and they probably did as soon as I walked away, I'm sure. And then, I played in a $100 tournament Sunday night at the MGM Grand, Sunday afternoon, and that one was a $10,000 guaranteed pot. There ended up being 170 people and a $6,000 grand prize, and I finished like 36th or 37th. But just held on as long as I could and just couldn't get those double ups when I got low, and just nothing doing. But it was highly entertaining. I'd never been in that big of a field, for that much money. So that was at least live. When I used to play internet poker, I used to play in bigger fields than that. But it was pretty cool, man. It's a lot different live than on the Poker Stars, but yeah, it was cool, very cool.
Well, I'm glad you had fun.
Hell yeah, man. We went out and saw the Beatles Love Cirque du Soleil show. That was pretty awesome. And a couple other things too, man. It was it was an awesome trip. I highly recommend we all take a guy's trip out there someday, play some poker, put some sports bets down. It'll be fun.
I am all in.
Yeah. And my first hotel shared a spot with the Topgolf there too, so I couldn't convince my wife to play that though. She's like, "Yeah, you can do that in Michigan. We're not doing that here." So, yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I get it.
I never understood the Detroit casino they have there.
Yeah, the D Detroit. It's down on Fremont, down in the old town, and it's filthy down there. It's real gross, and some very unsavory things going on in the streets in front of that hotel.
Yeah, and I just don't understand why they advertise it like crazy on radio in Detroit, but it's like, why would I want to come from Detroit to go to Detroit?
Yeah, no, my wife, we were down there. She's like, "You want to go in there?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. That doesn't interest me." Even a small amount. I'm not flying to Vegas to go to a Detroit-themed, casino.
Right. Exactly. I don't get it at all.
I'm telling you that there's nothing Detroit-themed about it outside of the name. But it is the best place if you're going to go play like blackjack or a lot of things that require significant effort on the dealer to do mathematical equations. And let me tell you why. Every single one of their dealers there also is a dancer. So they dance and then they deal. They dance and then they deal. So the last time I was there, we started playing some blackjack, and I swear she kept paying on the side bet. She paid on the odds of the side bet every time we won. We were winning an insane amount of money, which we shouldn't have. Somebody at the table almost brought something up. I had to kick him and say, "Shut the fuck up, stop it. What are you doing?" And then they switched the dealer and we started losing. So then she came back and we did it again. There was like 4 of us that we just cleaned up on it. It was fantastic. That's why I recommend it. It's a nice area of Vegas and there's some cool things to do.
All right. You stretched it a little bit there saying it's a nice area of Vegas. We went down to Fremont Street, and that whole place was a dump except for that exact corner that the D was on. That was the only place I saw people openly doing hard drugs and prostitutes standing on corners.
Well, maybe we have different motivations and feel comfortable in different situations. I like that. It was fun.
No, that was amazing. When I was there when I was 21, like everything was just litter and trash and crap and piss everywhere. And this time around, the main stretch, not the south stretch where like the old MGM and everything was, but the main stretch was crystal clean. Like saw a guy puke on one of those walkways across the street, walk by there 45 minutes later, it was already cleaned up. Like they were just on top of their game there this time around. So it was interesting. So Christopher, we continue to slide a little bit in this draft for upside Lenny Melnick team. Are we still plugging along, or do you think we've run into a lost cause at this point?
I mean, there's not much you can do in a 15-team league. We just have to, just keep going and hope some things break. I mean, Yordan Alvarez came in, has hit some home runs for us, so I think that was a good pickup. And I think there's 1 or 2 things that we can do with our pitchers. We can try and go ahead and pick games that we want to attack and sit guys in other situations, or we can get together a lot of our pitchers and just get to the innings limit and then just stop with the pitchers and then go get some other talent. Or now that it's the summertime, it's hotter out, there's going to be some more runs scored. Maybe we pull back on the pitchers, just leave our relievers in there for a little while and bring back the starters a little bit later in the year when you get the AAA and AA call-ups. So there's a couple strategies that we could do there.
I'm looking at it right now. We've played 661 of our allotted 1,200 innings, so we're already well over 50% of our innings pitched.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get there. Everybody's going to get there. It doesn't matter,
Right.
So, yeah, those are kind of the things that we could do.
I'm looking. Our guys they're doing all right. Yeah, I mean,
maybe we get rid of Rick Porcello, get rid of Chris Archer, and maybe we just have a 4-man rotation: Greinke, right. Woodruff, Gray, Buehler, and then our relievers. At this point, we can pick up some guys later if that needs to be the case. But that was kind of the thought that I had. You can only change so much. It's not like there's a lot of guys on the waiver wire, and it's not like you can get lucky in matchups. It just was what it was. We had some draft picks that didn't work out. I think we've done a pretty admirable job of adding to the squad, and you look at it and it's not that bad, but it is.
It's not that bad, but it is that bad. So yeah, we'll have to play around with that. Maybe I'll float some offers off for our pitchers and see if we can, improve on guys like Eduardo Nunez and Forsythe and Vasquez. Maybe we can upgrade here or there.
Well, the interesting thing, and I don't think this has been followed up, but someone was charting home run rate in the major leagues for the first, I think up until about 2 weeks ago versus last week. And maybe even this week they're going to include it. But the home run rate has dropped pretty drastically, leading to the theory is, maybe there was a juiced ball in the beginning part of the year when the weather's not quite as right for the balls to fly out. But now that it's warmed up, maybe, Major League Baseball has gone ahead and decided to get some regular balls out there. And then you have a kind of consistent production throughout the year, which, if that's what they are doing, is pretty sharp. I don't have a problem with it. I think it falls in line with, Mark's conspiracy theories that he aired the other day on major sports leagues fixing playoff series and whatnot. And certainly there's quite a bit of evidence that backs him up. So, I can't say that it's, a tinfoil hat type situation.